Hello and welcome. It is the start of the 29th day of May 2017 as we head into a new week. Let's take a look at both the gold and silver markets. We'll start within silver and the daily chart. And it's got the most obvious noticeable runs, as for a while I was talking about all of these lower highs and lower lows that occurred at the end of 2016. Well, since this point in here, clear run up here, down here. I mean, these highs and lows, very noticeable. So it made a higher high, a higher low, a matching high, which was then followed by a lower low that was higher than the end of the 2016 one, furthering what is a very long sideways correctionary period. Looking at this even further, the last key low of support would be an area that you'd be looking for as your first leg of resistance, as it came from the 16 bottom. And we can see in here that on this point here, it has resisted it and continued to head up further above this point. We can calculate some Fibonacci retracement, and we got a low of about a little over 16 and a high at about 1875, 1872 area. And we'll just put a number like that in. So key areas in at 1702 and 1765. So the 17 area has been taken out, which coincided with this point in here. And it's looking, of course, to establish a newer area of resistance. Let's change the time frame out to the hourly. And the key thing, of course, is the 17 handle. And we can see in here that it was at resistance on the 17th of May, had a decent sized pullback, and within the first resistance area test, came to it, pierced above it, pulled back, and then since breaking this level, had a nice run higher, has once supported this level, which is where you came from. This is where it came from. This is where it came back to. It is lifted off, up move, sideways consolidation, and then it's continuing on within an uptrend. More importantly, as it's doing this uptrend, it's doing it as it's breaking this resistance it had last week at the approximate area of about 1730. Within the 5-minute time frame, we can pretty much see the uptrend within, and a little bit of up movement in here, some sideways consolidation that ended the last week, and it is open this day, making a test of this upper resistance area of obviously breaking above it. Well, that 17 and 2/3 area level that I was talking about, which 1765, would be what we'd be looking for as its next resistance target. If it makes it there, the expected support will be where it came from, and it came from about 1735. Let's move on to gold. And on its 5-minute chart, totally different pattern, as its resistance area in which it was facing. And here, well, it ended last week, getting above it, falling below it, and it gaps above this point. So the markets close, and of course the equities. So during the time frame, or spanning the time frame from 5 p.m. Eastern time on Friday to 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday the 28th, that gap move happened. In a free market, then these things shouldn't happen, but there is definitely problems in the crypto land when exchanges run into leg issues stopping others from trading. And I'm saying this because who's doing this? Regular people, regular traders just have to watch it happen. And well, I guess that's just the way it is, because when the market's closed, it ain't closed for everybody. So that's the 5-minute time frame. Let's take a look at this on the daily next. And comparing this to silver, which of course made the lower low in here, the highs and lows very easily distinguishable again, as we got this key low, this high, this low, this high. So higher highs and higher lows within its pattern. We can see that it made this move down, nice rally up, and this sideways consolidation in which it's been holding has been playing well, because it's just breaking out past that mark right now, as it is. We've seen on the gap open for the week of 1270. It looks like it's going to extend to new areas. Now, as far as Fibonacci retracement's concerned, looks at about 1375 is the high and about 11 and a quarter. So we'll put those levels in, which gives me 1275, 1215 as the key levels. And at 1215, of course, in here, that's where it managed to find its first resistance area level, finding support. So, and now at this 1275 handle, it was resistance for the first time in April, has had what looks to be the successful correction, and it's breaking this key point at that successful, or that's not successful, at the significant Fibonacci level, maybe successful as well, but throwing that aside, successful break above this and this previous resistance over 13 should make us move not only to the election highs below 1350, but more importantly, these previous summer highs about 1375. Within the gold hourly chart, we can see more of that sideways consolidation that I was talking about that lasted from the 17th of May, ending, well, we'll say last Friday. The break above resistance on that day, and it is continuing its uptrend to the upside. Let's take a quick look at the other precious metals as well. Palladium on the daily time frame, which has had many leg stretches. You have this little range in here. You had this little move, but more importantly, you had this recent range. And what was a range in this area here had what could be this failed breakdown below in here. I don't see too many of these in the cryptocurrency markets, but you do see more of these within the Forex market. At if this thing happens to go higher because of this move here, I'd be a little excited that breaking this resistance, maybe it can test some previous higher levels. With the first one, of course, being the previous high before in 2014, a little over 900. I know myself, I have no palladium. I'm looking to get some. I think the easiest way is if you're buying from a local trusted dealer like a JM Bullion, or in Canada, Silver Gold Bull, that if you get like a Canadian Maple Leaf, you could probably make some fake palladium with silver maybe. But palladium has the possibility of having some sickening gains based on its limited supply, and any possible major uses of such could have great gains in the future. Let's move on to platinum. And on the daily chart, we can see a lot of choppiness in the recent time frame, but like silver, back at its previous resistance point that it once had, which a hair below or at the 950 mark, but it is breaking out above that point. But it's also in this more longer term range in here. And on the weekly chart, it's got a long ways to go again, and breaking out above this previous resistance could be an area where you could see some nice sized green candles when you head north of the 1200 mark. But for now, platinum just hitting in this sideways range right now, a hair below 1,000. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great week. Bye-bye.